Stakeholders heightened call for the review of Nigeria's Inland Shipping and Cabotage Act as shippers groan arbitrary charges from terminal operators. More often, this high rate combined with a bad state of access roads result in port congestion. As the World Bank plans a $40 million intervention with the introduction of electronic port regulatory system. Wait a minute. Does the country really need a $40 million to address port congestion? Or what is needed might just be an effective, firm regulatory system backed with right leadership and political will. It's question time. Welcome to the program. I'm Benga Ashiru. You may also join in this conversation by sending us a comment on our various social media platforms showing on your screen. How do we explain the grand plan to seek a $40 million intervention to fix port congestion? Let's hope this isn't a case of misplaced priority, bearing in mind the infrastructural deficit in the country and other important and urgent needs. All right, perhaps a cost-benefit analysis of this investment will throw more light on Nigeria's inland shipping and cabotage reforms. Channels TV crew was at the Nigerian Shippers Council headquarters in Lagos. We had a chat with the Executive Secretary, Mr. Hassan Bello, as he unveils plans to turn around the shipping sector to stimulate economic growth. Join us in this exclusive interview.
The maritime sector, as you said, is no doubt a veritable tool for diversification of the economy, especially, in time of recession. And earnings from, the revenue, the impact on shipping on the economy will be enough to sustain, earnings and actually save Nigeria from recession. But as you said, again, this will take in forms of reforms. And reforms, at the ports especially, it's to introduce far-reaching changes that will bring transparency, that will bring automation. What we want to do is to make Nigeria the destination for cargo. The more throughput we get through our ports, the more revenue we have, the more we have employment, the more we have modern infrastructure. And especially for export, because that's one issue now. We have to be less import dependent, diversify economy so we can export and earn foreign exchange. And I think Nigerian Shippers Council is all for competition of our ports. They have to be extremely efficient to attract cargo, not only from Nigerian importers or exporters, but cargo even from our neighboring countries.
When you talk of making Nigeria's ports more competitive, what exactly do you have in mind?
Yes, we are in competition. Nigerian ports or terminals are in competition with many ports within the West and Central African sub-region. Now, it is competition that will determine, how much cargo or throughput you'll get. So it's a function of competition. You have to make your ports more efficient, more cost-effective, friendlier, and overall, you have to make it a modern port. So the shipper who imports or export goods has preference. He has decision to make. Which port am I going to use? And this will depend largely on how efficient your ports are. He will ask, how many days will my cargo stay in the port before I get it out? How much am I going to pay? He has the rates, so he will make a comparison.
Would that not mean assuming the role of a port regulator, then what happens to the statutory functions of the Nigeria Port Authority?
Yes, that's why the regulator is actually the coordinator, because there are many interplays at the ports. The port is a miasma of many interests. It is also where you see a lot of agencies, in the port. But what is most important is you have to harness, you have to promote synergy. Because all of the agencies at the ports have one aim, to either generate revenue for the government, or to make the ports efficient.
Now let's review the decision to partner the Borno State government in creating a dry port in Maiduguri. What's the cost-benefit analysis of this decision?
Extremely viable. The port, that is the seaport, is not a storage place. Ports are supposed to just be recipient of cargo and, of course, clear the cargo as soon as they arrive at the port. So it's a transient point. What we do is to actually have inland ports because substantial cargo goes to the hinterland anyway. And when you bring the cargo, you'll be able to transport the cargo to those ports. And these ports are ports by any definition, where the goods are examined at these ports, custom duty and other fees or charges or levies are paid, not at the seaport. So you can stay in Maiduguri or Isialanga or Katsina or that is Funtua or Jos or Kano and order your cargo there. So what it means is we are decongesting the seaports. The perennial congestion of the seaports will not be there. Even the roads leading to Apapa and Tinkan, they will not be having such kind of traffic.
How do you, for instance, encourage or attract a shipper who is used to Lagos and perhaps this is the commercial nerve of the nation to divert its cargo?
It is a question of cost. It will be much cheaper for them. Instead of coming with their trucks to Lagos, they will be by train getting their goods at their destination. Besides, we'll have a boost, in the local economies where these ports are situated. And I think by and large, this goes to the linkage between the seaport and the dry ports. It's, I think, a very economical idea. And it is also a fundamental way of encouraging exports. There are so many produce, agricultural processed products in these areas, in Funtua, in Maiduguri, where we can, encourage export.
Now, let's look at our inland waterways now. Lots of people are calling for the dredging of the River Niger and Benue. Why must it be dredged?
The inland waterways is also a very, very effective, mode of transport, which should be utilized. We have about 8,600 kilometers, of inland waterways, largely Benue and Niger and some creeks